our state, in Indiana, the United States government has already killed 8 of our siblings, and they plan to kill 5 more. They plan to take our brother, Brandon Bernard, on December 10th. Then they plan to take Lisa Montgomery. Then they plan to take Dustin Higgs. And who knows who they plan to take next? Who knows when they're going to call Billie Allen's name? So that's why we get together now and stay together. Because we know that we're getting some national attention now, and that's good. But we also know that there's already been 8 people lost. So we might ask ourselves, where has everyone been? The families have been fighting all along. For 23 years, Yvette and her family have been fighting to prove the innocence of her brother, of their son. They have the DNA evidence to prove his innocence. And as Billie says, his innocence does not make him an exception, but it proves that there are flaws in the system that target and exploit the young, the black, and the poor. Billie Allen was 18 years old when he was convicted and 20 years old when he was sentenced to death. Most of us here are older than that. Children are being told that they aren't worth it before they've even had the chance to grow into adults. Something that Billie Allen said yesterday that really affected me is he talked about all of those out here who fight to defend the sanctity of life and who speak only about abortion. But if that child is born into this world and commits a crime, then they're no longer worth saving. Then they're someone to be killed. They're a nuisance. They're someone to push to the side. But we say no, we say that's family. We say that everybody has a right to live.
I'm Yvette Allen. I'm the sister of Billie Allen, who has been fighting for the past 23 years, fighting to prove his innocence. I'm here not only on his behalf, but I'm here on behalf of all of the men on federal death row to advocate for them to help stop the upcoming executions. We have next week, we have Brandon Bernard, who has the execution date on next Thursday, who has a date for not even doing anything. He was an accomplice to a crime. We have Dustin Higgs after that, and he also has an affidavit from actually the co-defendant stating that he actually never partaken in the crime. So I'm just here to advocate for him, advocate for my brother. My brother has DNA evidence on top of an alibi witness, gasoline reports that were never presented on his behalf. And I'm just trying to point out some of the, things that are wrong within the criminal system. So 1997, my brother was convicted of bank robbery and murder. Despite any forensic, any type of evidence linking him to the crime, there was nothing. But yet he's still on federal death row. I have DNA evidence proving that it did not match the victims. It did not match the victim. We have an alibi statement that was presented, that was interviewed by the police officers, that was never presented in court. We have gasoline reports. During the robbery, the van that was driven actually crashed and burned. And forensic experts testified that had he been in the car, that there would have been an ounce of gasoline on him. He tested negative on everything. So we're just out here trying to prove that he is innocent, and there are plenty of innocent men on federal death row. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not uncommon. I think we're at 165 at this point who have been wrongfully convicted on on death row in general. That have spent plenty of years on death row and later being found, innocent. We actually just did something a couple of months ago where we actually had someone who actually had 6 death warrants. In their last death warrant, they were 90 minutes away from being executed. And they found out that they were innocent and they left prison that day. So it's not uncommon. This happened in the 90s. Just imagine the 90s when there weren't cameras around. You have cameras around today and people are still getting off knowing that, the criminal justice system and the evidence against them is strong, and they're still getting off today. So just imagine in the 90s when we weren't, it wasn't as accessible. So it just happened.
We have a lot of folks who are here today to speak truth to power. We have Yvette Allen, we have Zikra Bashir, we have Aisha, the sister of Yusef Salam, one of the Central Park Five. So we know that today we're going up against a tyrant in the White House who is obsessed with violence, obsessed with blood. We see that in the numbers of those he's already taken and those that he is rushing to take before he loses his grip on power. But we also see this historically. And Aisha, just like Yvette, just like the families of all those on death row and all of those whose bodies have been plundered by the state, is still fighting and is coming together with us. And that's why it's so important for us to be here.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, everyone.
Hey!
I wish I could be with you there today. Unfortunately, this COVID situation has gotten me kind of stuck in the house, unfortunately. But I am definitely there with you in spirit. I definitely believe, we've been through so much as families with just dealing with this whole justice system, this system that isn't just for most of us. We've been having to deal with this for many, many years. My brother, as you know, he's a part of the Central Park Five, the exonerated five they call him now, is Yusef Salam. And, back in 1989, Trump called for the death penalty, so we knew what type of person he was back then. He wanted the death penalty, and if he had his way, Corey Wise, one of the oldest, 16-year-old boy, would have been maybe looking at that if this woman would have passed away. So, we're definitely here in support of you. We're in support of all of you. I feel, I can't believe we're still going through this in 2020. There's been so much proven out there that there's so many people in jail who are wrongfully there. There's been time and time again, we're hearing about stories that people aren't getting the right justice that they should be getting, and they should be getting new trials and things like that. I just can't imagine that a system would still want to put people to death and not know all the facts, around the particular case. I mean, me in particular, I don't believe in the death penalty at all, but even if you did, to put somebody in prison and then commit and put them and decide that you're going to kill them because you think that maybe they did something, and there's so much evidence out there to prove that they didn't, has got to, it's got to show or let everybody know that this isn't how we're supposed to be running the United States of America. It's not the case. It just shouldn't be the case. I can't wait till this administration is out of office. I can't wait. Trump has got to go. And this death penalty situation has got to be turned around. We can't be looking at this continuously. We can't continue our lives going on and still having people put to death. It's barbaric. It just really is. That's bottom line. It's barbaric. I really wish I could be out there with you all. I really do. This is horrible that our brothers and our sisters are still going through this today. And most of them just because of the color of their skin, most of them because of the economic situation. It's just, that shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be the case. It just shouldn't be. Hearing me out? Thank you. We're constantly trying to work on issues like this. We're out here doing the work, justice for the wrongfully incarcerated. We're out here trying to, make sure that these wrongs are righted in some type of way. But we need people. We need people out there. We need people to continue to do the work. We need people to get out there and show that we don't agree with this. This is not how we want the United States to be.
Hi everyone, I'm Zikra Foster. Nice to be seeing you all. I'm going to be reciting a poem called The Caretaker's Feast by Gerald Grayson. A feast fitting for mortal souls, ill-defined. Shall you partake in good cheer, the loss of souls, with wine? I am weary, and questions of this sort do baffle the mind. They take the compassion out of the spine. Ask yourselves, gentlemen, what is loveliness of spirit, and what constitutes the divine? Life's a journey has surely shown you that every wit and rape can tell you true, how a Spartan life is nothing to rue. The following suit is perfected for you, that souls are infinitely caressed, for godly men are eminently blessed. I've stood in the spring of this youth, with my shadowy brow and social means, but now I'm a firmament of thoroughly, it seems. Dying men don't shout, here's mud in your eye. No, I decry, it's like this by and by. Tell me true, should I go wrong, then nail my feet to the potter's stone. I am not a child, I'm grown, just a verse in the hangman's song. It's a valid supposition, mortal men know. Those of means get weak and never grow old. Your aversion burns painfully slow. What is hate, other than ignorance and defeat? A feast of diabolical treat from a catbird's seat. Hate, like kissing baby's cheeks. The fires of hell would not deter your sleep. The wicked ruse is deceptively neat. Men, debased, pour death into the keep. If they should die before I wake, see their eyes on your china plate, and I'll drink their tears to your hellish fate. Your judgment should be like chalk on a slate. This is furious of unrefined minds. I must away while the sun's in decline, to fashion necklaces of hemp, for your damned have run out of time. Thank you.
And we're awaiting a call from Billie. So we don't know when exactly that's going to come in, but Billie is going to speak with us today. We're just awaiting that call. So right now I'm going to hand it over to Yvette Allen. Please give her a big round of applause.
We have taken so much pride in saying that justice is blind, that we have erected statues of a woman blindfolded, while holding scales to symbolize that she does not see race, gender, wealth, or any other thing that we as people can at times be biased when it weighs on in or judging ourselves under a certain situation. We also say that the blindfolded is a way for her to be fair and to see truth when called upon to do so. But couldn't the latter be why the system of justice has and will continue to make victims of the same people it was meant to protect? Because to see truth and justice, specifically here in America, doesn't require no demands that justice be able to see what she's been told in order to get a full picture of what's the truth and what's not. Because isn't truth and honesty more than what one says? Haven't we found that the spoken word can be manipulated to pass as the truth, but its message is used to carry on a lie? Haven't we also learned that in the search for truth and justice, sometimes we have to gauge not only what's said, but also one's posture, body, language, gestures, or the way in which one's eyes move upon them telling their story? Yet, we ask Lady Justice to be the seeker of truth, of justice, when she is unable to see the deception and lies that take place right in front of her, because she has been purposely blindfolded to keep her from seeing the full truth in all situations and circumstances. We have watched as so many have tilted the scales of justice in favor of the rich over the poor, one race over another, one gender over another, one political party over another political party, one religion over another religion, one friend over another friend, one neighbor over another neighbor, and even a family member over another family member. And when Lady Justice inquires about that which she cannot see, a lie, and a lie is the truth. Without realizing that the blindfold was not for her benefit or for that of the truth and justice, but that it was meant to keep her from seeing the full truth, and her then having to turn to others with ulterior motives to administer what they deem to be truth and not that which is actually true. This is why the cries of justice can still be heard after so many years. This is why no justice, no peace has been passed down from generation to the next. This is why Black Lives Matter has become the call for equality for all. This is why I Can't Breathe has become the voice for those who have become victims of the same system and people whom they supposed to protect because they have put their foot on their neck. Billie Allen is my brother and has currently been on federal death row for the last 23 years for a crime that he could prove that he did not commit. There was evidence that had been tested against DNA that was found at the crime scene, and it all came back negative. His clothes were tested for traces of gasoline in order to link him to the gasoline soaked in the getaway van that was used in the crime, and where the results again came back negative. Where a security guard who was at the shopping mall picking up his paycheck would tell FBI agents that he saw my brother at the shopping mall with bags he purchased at the same time of the crime. But where none of this evidence, along with other evidence that he has, was never presented in his defense at the trial, because like so many other wrongful convictions, my brother was appointed an attorney who didn't care about him, who didn't care about the truth, and he definitely didn't care about justice. So that left my brother to proceed to trial with an attorney who had evidence, but didn't take the time to go through the files, discover it, and then use it to my brother's defense. And can you call that justice and a fair trial because he was tried on court? And is it a fair trial when the officers involved in the case have now been arrested and some under investigation for the same things that my brother said that they did to him? Is it justice when DNA results, gasoline results, and alibi and other evidence was never presented in the case? That's why I'm here today, speaking on my brother's behalf, because the government has kept the truth and justice that he continues to endure in silence for far too long. They want to kill my brother for something he didn't do, something their own evidence proves he didn't do. So I'm asking you all to join me in helping shed light on the injustice before it's done. I also, I'm here, we're here on behalf of my brother, but again, I too want to say that we're here, focusing on my brother. I also want to bring attention to Brandon Bernard's case, where he was shown that there are flaws within the criminal justice system, where someone who actually did commit the crime is held accountable as someone who committed the crime. The same can be said for Dustin Higgs' case, where the person who did the crime actually confessed to the crime. The co-defendant actually wrote an affidavit saying that Dustin Higgs actually had nothing to do with the crime. The co-defendant was given a life sentence, and Dustin Higgs, who has a January 15th day on Martin Luther King's birthday, was sentenced to death. So it's really important that we get out here and speak out for these guys because they do have upcoming dates. So I just want to make sure that you all have supported him. And Dustin actually asked me to read you all something, so I'm going to read it quickly. Okay, it's called, I am an innocent man. I, Dustin Higgs, come in peace. I would first like to emphasize, I'm an innocent man. I did not kill or direct anyone to kill at anyone. How is it that the admitted killer can state in an affidavit that I, Dustin Higgs, didn't threaten, direct, or order him to kill Jackson, Chen? Sorry, this is Bill calling. Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
All right. How you doing?
I just, first of all, like I, told those who got it yesterday, I want to thank you all, and I want to let you all know that I appreciate you all being there and supporting me and other people on Federal Death Row, who are out here, fighting for our lives and trying to survive to the next administration. I really want you all to, keep in mind that, Brandon Bernard's execution date is coming up in, within the next 5 days. And, I think that, people really need to understand that, they claim that this punishment is reserved for the worst of the worst. But yet, as you all can see from my case, Bernard's case, and even the Hagen case, they're trying to kill people who are innocent and who have never took part in the crimes. And I think that, that needs to be put out there to people because it doesn't seem like people are really listening out there. And I mean, that's why I think it's important that you all are there, and that's what, all of us in here feel like, people are listening. And, I thank you all just for, I guess, listening to me, because my journey has been one that has lasted, over 23 years. As I told you yesterday, it gets harder and harder as the years go on. Because you file appeal after appeal, you're hoping that the judges hear the truth, you're hoping that your evidence matters, and it doesn't feel like the truth doesn't even matter anymore in our legal system. And I think that's the reason why the justice system doesn't operate the way it should, is because I don't think they think people care. I think they think people are happy that, that people are just being arrested. That people don't care that innocent people are becoming the victims of the same system that the system was supposed to protect. So your voices are always important when you're speaking out about these cases, because you're letting them know that you're not going to stand by and just allow innocent people to be convicted for crimes they didn't commit. And to me, that's important, and pointing out my evidence. And as I always tell people, I'm not asking you to believe in me simply because I'm making a lot of noise, simply because I'm an artist, simply because I'm a nice person. I'm telling you to believe in me because of my evidence. My evidence speaks for itself. It's not something I came up with. It's not something my legal team came up with. Everything that's in my case that I'm out there to prove my innocence came from the government's own mouths. They knew that I was innocent over 22 years ago. But at the same time, they knew that I wasn't getting the proper representation, so they stood in front of my jury and told my jury that they were 100% sure that I was guilty and that there was no evidence they could prove that I was innocent. They tested my clothes, not a single trace of gasoline was on my clothes. Not a single trace. But yet they stood in front of my jury and told my jury I was an assignment man. Yet they had the same results in their possession and exonerated me. Same thing goes for another witness who called into the FBI. This call from a federal prison. A few hours after my arrest, they called the FBI and specifically told them, look, we see Norris Holder and another person other than Billie Allen talking about robbing the bank. And the thing is, they knew all this stuff, and they never told my jury. And the sad part about it for me is that my attorney has these things in his possession. He asked for it in our discovery. And I said, that's the rule under the law. He has to ask for discovery, and the government has to turn them. So they did do what they were supposed to do by turning those things over. The betrayal comes in when they sit in front of my jury and tell my jury that there's nothing they can exonerate me or nothing they can prove my innocence. But at the same time, I think one of the most key things that you all need to know is when I first got arrested, unlike people who say they're innocent, and just say they're innocent without anything to support it, I told them that at the time, the exact time the crime took place, I was shopping at a shopping mall, which I was doing. I was there at 10 o'clock, all the way up to like 11:30 or 12 o'clock. The crime took place at 10:30, so there was no way I could have committed the crime. They talked to a security guard who was at the same shopping mall picking up his paycheck. He went to the FBI and told the FBI that there was no way I could have committed the crime because he saw me shopping at the shopping mall. When I was arrested, the clothes that I had bought that morning were in my home. I told the FBI to go to my home and get those clothes because inside those bags were the receipts. They told me they were going to go to the shopping mall. Now, one thing we all know about shopping malls, all of them have video cameras. They claim that they went to the shopping mall, but yet they said that they couldn't find anybody to prove that I was at the shopping mall. But yet, when the security guard came forward, they never told my jury those things. So basically, that's my defense. That's the thing I need you all to help people understand. I mean, when you're out there saying free Billie Allen, you're saying free Billie Allen because Billie Allen did this. Because Billie Allen has evidence of this. So your crimes aren't in vain. just know that it's supported by my evidence. And when you're sitting in front of people, show them my evidence. Show them that what you're saying is the truth, based on facts and based on evidence. The same thing goes for Bernard. Bernard has to get their attention not only because he has executed me, but because the evidence in his case shows that he couldn't have done what they said he did in the crime. Forensic evidence. We're not asking people to believe us simply because we're saying we're innocent. The government's own forensic evidence is proving us innocent, but the courts won't listen to us. You all are our defense attorneys. You all are our juries. You all voices mean so much to us getting our freedom. And you are, anytime people are silent, that means the court system is saying, okay, people don't care, so we need you all to keep making notes. We need you all to keep fighting for us. The same thing with Dustin Hicks. He has a report with the actual killer. Conceded that he took part in the crime. He was the one who killed the victim. He's been bragging for the last few years that he killed anybody. But at the same time, we need you all to make people understand that we have evidence of our innocence. Like I said, you all are our defenders. You all are the people who will change society. You all will change the justice system. You all will make right wrong. Wrong right. And that's why I say I appreciate you for doing that, because trust me, I'm seeing everything my sister is telling me about the way the numbers are going up. Our followers, and it's because of you. The little things that you all are doing, tweeting, blogging, calling people, passing it on to your next door neighbors, passing it on to your friends, it's reaching people. It's reaching people, and trust me, it's reaching me here, which I need it the most, honestly, because at times I get tired, sometimes I get frustrated, sometimes I don't feel like going on, because how can you keep feeling like going on when you keep being betrayed by the system that is supposed to free you? It's hard for me, it's hard for everybody else in here who's fighting for their innocence. And I need you all to continue to do what you're doing and know that I appreciate it. Trust me, I appreciate it more than anything. If I knew each and every one of you, trust me, I would thank you personally myself. If you write me, I will write you back and thank you personally myself. I just want you all to know that I appreciate you, and I want you all to keep fighting for me. I need it. Honestly, I honestly need it more than anything. My sister needs it. She's been carrying this burden for the last 23 years herself, fighting her, my mom, my sisters, everybody who's in my family who has supported me. They've been carrying this burden of thinking that I'm going to be executed for something that I didn't do. I worry about that. I worry about that because the law no longer matters in our society. But once again, you all can make a difference. Your voices can change things. Your voices are changing things. So keep shouting from the rooftops that you all want justice. Keep shouting that why doesn't evidence matter? Make them understand that they have to listen to you all, that they can't ignore you all anymore. I thank you. I appreciate you all, everything, for everything you're doing. If there's any questions you all have before the phone hangs up, I'll answer them for you.
Let's let Billie know we appreciate him and telling him, thank you, we love you. 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 Thank you, we love you.
Thank you, we love
Let's also do, how about a Free Billie Allen?
Free Billie Allen!
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 Thank you all so much. I can't thank you all enough. And like I said, all you out there, if I can personally thank you, just write me. I promise I will write you every last one of you thank you letters. Like I said, I appreciate it. The fact that you're out there in the cold, I just want to, be able to thank you all personally. So if you write me, just write me and know that I promise I'll write back and thank you, for everything that you're doing for me. And, while you all out there fighting for me, I do want you all to be safe. Please be safe, stay, keep you in, it's going to stay protected. And I just wish you all well, and I thank you all for everything that you.
This call is from a scheduled program.
You know, and I'll make sure I let the guys in here know, you know, that you all are out there supporting us. Trust me, we appreciate everything that you all are doing. I mean, trust me, we appreciate it. And I love you all too, and I thank you all for your support and love. And I mean, I can't stop smiling right now. Just on and on. I'm just smiling right now, so that means the world to me.
So we've got the number 8, Emma.
So there have been 8 people federally executed in 2020.
8 people federally executed so far this year. 5 more planned. 14, Zikra.
So 14 is the age of the youngest person ever executed in America,
George Stinney, 14 years old, killed in the state of Louisiana. 165, how many, Selena?
The number of exonerated death row inmates since 1973.
Exonerated. Found innocent. One of the most troubling facts is that oftentimes they don't realize folks are innocent until after they've already taken their lives. When DNA evidence was introduced in 1973, they realized, looking back, that nearly 10% of all executions carried out had been against innocent victims. That's a margin of error that we cannot accept. It is morally indefensible. 20, Sophie.
The number of days notice that Justice Departments are required to give a person and their family before their execution.
So the families and our siblings inside have only 20 days to prepare themselves for their death. And so families, like Yvette, she checks every Monday morning, every Wednesday morning, every Friday morning, not knowing when she's going to see her brother's name on that list, and not knowing how much she's going to be able to do in only 20 days when she's been fighting for over 20 years. 1,527, Nico.
That's the number of people who have been executed in the United States since 1973.
366, Sarah.
People have been executed who were children at the time of their offense.
Children. We remember that Billie was only 18 at the time he was convicted and 20 at the time he was sentenced to death. He spent more time in that penitentiary in Terre Haute than he spent living his life as a whole human being. 1927, Abby.
This year has been the deadliest year for federal execution since at least 1927.
In 73 years. We know our history and we know how dirty it is. But today, we are facing that same evil to a greater degree than we've seen in the last 70 years. So we go back to that number, 8 folks already taken. 8 siblings already taken. And like we said, it's wonderful that we're getting this media attention now. But it's important that we know where we've been to know where we're going.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I just want to say, to support, those that is in federal, prison. The sister girl, her brother here, I couldn't help when the brother, Nick, which is he's one of the members of IDOC Watch. I couldn't help but to, just get involved because, it's something I've never really heard about like that, just as far as like it being real now that I'm out here free, because I just got out. Like a lot of the words that the brother was saying on that phone, I couldn't help but to feel, because hearing you have 2 minutes left, like little stuff like that gets to me. It's emotional to me just because it's like I've been around brothers that has had 58 years. I'm in the cell with them, and brothers that's came from the federal to the state, and so they finishing their time up with where they at. But you know, it's definitely something that, yeah, it keeps messing up. I don't know. It's definitely something that's heartfelt. I really don't know too much what to say right now, but I know that I'm just here to, you know what I'm saying, hopefully, you know, make a change and help make a difference and agitate, educate, and organize, because, you know, Black Lives Matter, those that is in organizations and really striving to really make a difference, this shit is blood, sweat, and tears in this shit. Like, this ain't nothing that, you know what I mean, like, it's an easy process. Like, over the years, like, some of the things that you really affected by this, like, you know, when you're in it and you're the one dealing with it. But the family, though, is one of the ones that is affected by that, you know what I'm saying, as well. You know what I mean? I never really think that my life would turn out the way it did, you know, prior to getting locked up. And now that I'm out, you know, I got a chance to do something with myself. But, you know, due to me being in prison and seeing what I've seen, I've been affected mentally, like traumatized by certain things. You know what I mean? Now I got an opportunity. I got a circle of friends and comrades who, you know, is there, you know, to, you know, help me on my way. And I'm here to help ones. So, you know, I appreciate y'all coming, taking the time to listen, and y'all just do what y'all can, like the brother said, you know, tweeting, all that type of stuff, as far as, you know, being involved on social media, because this is real work right here. This is action. How we out here in the community, how we standing, you know what I mean, where we're standing, you know, but social media is a lot more influential. You see what I'm saying? So y'all do what y'all can to stand 10 toes down. For real.
Are there any last messages you'd like our viewers to hear from you?
Just make sure you get involved. Like, people are dying at an alarming rate. You know, since July to November, 8 men have been executed, and we have 5 more dates for December and January. It's just important people to speak out against it, and you know, just make your voice as loud as possible, because you know, it's not okay, and there could be more. We don't know.
Will you join the firing squad, or will you stand with Brandon's mom? Join the firing squad, or will you stand with Brandon's mom? Which side are you on? 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 We're going up to Terre Haute, so won't you come along? Going up to Terre Haute, so won't you come along? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? We're going down to the killing ground, so won't you come along? We're going down to the killing ground, so won't you come along? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on? Which side are you on now? Which side are you on?